Hello and welcome to my predicted paper video for this November. This time I'm going to be going through my foundation paper for GCSE Maths on EDEXCEL. For this first question we need to find 1/3 of 60. To find 1/3 of a number you just divide it by 3, so 60 divided by 3, which gives you 20. For question 2 we need to find the value of the number 6. Here we have 4 which is in the tens column, the 3 is in the units column, but the 6 is in the tenths column. So we have 6/10, which could be written as a decimal 0.6. For this question we need to put these numbers in order. Let's draw a number line and we'll mark a cross for each of the numbers. So we've got 8, -3, -4, 4, and -1. The smallest number is on the far left, so we'll start with -4, then -3, then -1, then 4, then 8. For part B, we need to put some fractions in order. To do this, we'll convert each of the fractions into decimals. You have a calculator for this paper, so do 1 divided by 2, that will show 0.5, 3 divided by 4 is 0.75, 3 divided by 5 is 0.6, and 13 divided by 20 is 0.65. Now if we take these numbers and write them vertically, we can fill in any gaps with zeros. It then becomes really easy to compare the order. So the smallest one is 0.5, that was 1/2. Then it's 0.6, that was 3/5. Then 0.65, that was 13 out of 20. And finally 0.75, which was 3/4. For this question we need to draw a bar chart. Notice the highest frequency is 16, so we'll do a scale that goes from 0 to 16. To do this on this diagram you'll need to go up in twos. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We also need to label the bottom axis, so this will be the different types of vegetable. So we've got corn, peas, carrots, and broccoli. We can now draw the bars. So the first one is for corn, that's 16. For some reason people really like corn. Then we'll have 4 for peas, 6 for carrots, and then 3 for broccoli. Now 3 is in between 2 and 4, so notice we'll need to go halfway through a square. Finally, we need to add some labels to our axes. The bottom axis was the different types of vegetables, so favourite vegetable, and the left axis here is frequency. For part A of this question, we need to measure the line CD. So take a ruler and place it on the line, and if you've printed this on A4, you should get the answer 5.5 centimeters. For part B, we need to measure an angle. So we take our protractor, place this cross on the protractor onto the angle here, like so, and line up one of the zeros with the lines. You'll notice I've lined up this 0 here, so I'm going to use the inside scale. I'll read around until I reach this line, so using the inside scale, I get the answer 125. Measuring angle Y is a little tricky because it's a reflex angle. Instead, I'm going to measure the angle here marked in red. Again, I'll need my protractor, and I'll put this point here on the point of the angle here. I now need to turn the protractor so that one of the zeros is on one of the lines for the angle, like this. And this time I use this 0 on the outside, so I will read around the outside scale until I get to this line here. So if I read around the outside, I get the value 74 degrees. So the red angle here is 74 degrees, but we needed angle Y. These two angles go together to make a full circle, so I could do 360 take away 74 to find angle Y, which gives you Y is 286 degrees. In this question we have 1 3/4 hours. 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes, so this is the same as 1 hour and 45 minutes. Chrissy needs to wake up by 7:30 AM, so she's going to wake up 1 hour and 45 minutes earlier than this. So if we go back 1 hour first of all, that's 6:30 AM. And then if we go back 45 minutes, that would be 5:45 AM. So Chrissy wakes up at 5:45 AM. For this question we need to work out 27% of 1,800 meters. To do this I'll take 27 and divide it by 100 to turn it into a multiplier. That gives 0.27. Then we take that multiplier and multiply it by the amount, so 0.27 times 1,800, and that gives me 486 meters. This question said give your answer in kilometers though. There are 1000 meters in a kilometer, so I do 486 divided by 1000 and get 0.486 kilometers. For this question I need to simplify. The like terms are 6a and minus a. 6a take away a is 5a. And then we've also got plus 9b and minus 2b. 9b minus 2b is 7b. So it's 5a plus 7b. To solve this equation, I'd first of all add 6 to both sides. If you add 6 to the left hand side, the negative 6 will cancel, so you're just left with 4x. If you add 6 to the right hand side, 14 add 6 is 20. Now divide both sides by 4. On the left hand side, 4x divided by 4 is just x, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the solution is x equals 5. For this question we need to expand this bracket. We do 6 times 4 first, that's 24, and then 6 times negative x, that's negative 6x. So the answer is 24 take 6x. In the next question we have Mike with P marbles, and we're told that Will has 30 more marbles than Mike. If he has 30 more, then we would add 30. So if Mike has P, Will has P add 30. For this question we need to work out Megan's phone bill. Her phone bill is £10 per month and it's 3 months, so we do 3 times 10 which is £30. But it's also 12p per text message. So if we add up how many text messages she sends, 6 add 10 add 8 gives you 24, and each of those costs 12p, so 24 times 12p gives you £2.88. It also calls at 3p per minute. So if we add up the minutes, we've got 40 plus 35 plus 15, this gives you 90 minutes of calls. If each call is 3 pence though, we do 90 times 3p, which gets you £2.70. Now we need to work out the total bill, so we have the £30 plus £2.88 from the text messages, plus £2.70 from the calls, and this gives you a total of £35.58. For this question we need to draw a stem and leaf diagram. I notice the lowest value is 19 and the highest value is 44, so I need to make sure my stem goes from the teens all the way up to the 40s, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I will also add a key to make it clear what my numbers are, so 2 with a line then a 6 is going to represent 26. Now we add in the numbers. The lowest one is 19, so we put a 9. The next one is 20, so a 0, then 26, then 28, another 28, then we go to 30, another 30, a 32, another 32, a 33, a 35, a 38, a 39, and then a 41 and a 44. For part B of this question we need to work out the median goal scored. To do this we start crossing off the lowest and highest value in pairs. So if we start by crossing off the lowest value and then the highest value, and the next lowest and next highest, and then the next lowest, next highest, next lowest, next highest, and so on, you'll find that you end up with a middle value here, which is this 2. But of course that's in the row with 30s, so we have 3, line 2, which represents 32. For this question we have 5 players which have a mean age of 40. This means their total age must be 5 times 40, which is 200. If we add up the ages of the 4 players we're given, you get a total of 168, so the missing player must be the age that takes us back up to 200. So 200 take away 168 is 32. So Eve's age is 32. In this question we have 5 teams, each with 48 students. So if we do 5 times 48, we find there are 240 students in total. If we now split them into 6 equally sized teams, we do 240 divided by 6, which gets you 40. So the answer is 40. For this question I'm going to convert the percentages into fractions. So 30% is equal to 3 over 10, and 75% is equal to 3/4. Now I've been asked to work out the fraction of all of the students who are males completing maths homework. So 30% of the students were male, and 75% of those students were completing maths homework. So I need to do 75% of the 30% of students, which is the same as doing 3/4 of 3/10. 3/4 of 3/10 is just the same as 3/4 times 3/10. If you times these, you get 9 over 40, which is the answer to the question. For this question I need to find the reciprocal of 2.5. If you type 2.5 onto your calculator then press equals, it will probably show you 5 over 2. To find the reciprocal of a fraction, you just flip it upside down, so the 2 on the top and the 5 on the bottom. If you type 2 over 5 on your calculator, then press the SD button, it will give you it as a decimal, which is 0.4. You could also have done this question just by doing 1 divided by 2.5, which will also give you 0.4. For this next question, I need to write an error interval. The result after rounding is 8.4, so we'll draw a number line with 8.4, and then put the decimal before this and the decimal after, so 8.3 and 8.5. The numbers that round to 8.4 are represented by this bar here. The lower point of that bar is 8.35, and the upper point is 8.45. So these are the bounds of my error interval, 8.35 and 8.45. For this question I have a formula, m equals 5t plus b, and I've been told that t is 6 and b is negative 4. So I'm going to write the formula out once again, but instead of t, I will write 6, and instead of b, I will write negative 4. So m equals 5t, but we know t is 6, plus b, but we know b is negative 4. We now need to just work this out. 5 times 6 is 30, and then it's plus negative 4, which is just the same as taking 4. So m is 30 take away 4, which is 26. For the next part, I'm told the values of m and b, and I need to find t. So again, we're going to write the formula, but we'll change m for 60 and b for 10. So m equals, so 60 equals, 5t, but we don't know t, so we'll just write 5t, plus b, and we know b is 10, so plus 10. This is just an equation to solve. Let's take away 10 from both sides. If you take away 10 from the left, 60 take away 10 is 50, and if you take away 10 from the right, you're just left with 5t. Now divide both sides by 5, 50 divided by 5 is 10, and 5t divided by 5 is t. So you find the value of t is 10. For this question we have a sequence. You should notice that to get the next term you always add on 13. This means the nth term will start with 13n. Now I'm going to write the 13 times table above the sequence and think about how I get from the 13 times table to my sequence. And in all cases here you need to take away 6. For example, 13 take away 6 is 7. Or 26 take away 6 is 20. So it's 13n take away 6. To find the 50th term of the sequence, I'll use my nth term but change n for 50. So 13 lots of 50 take away 6. I'd use your calculator for this one and you'll get 644. In this question, Tiber scored 52 marks and this was 65%. So 52 marks equals 65%. To find the maximum mark, I need to find what 100% was. To do this, I'm going to find 1% first. To get from 65% to 1%, I divide by 65. So if I do 52 divided by 65, I get 0.8. So 0.8 marks equals 1%. Now I want 100%, so I could do 1 times 100 to get to 100. So 0.8 times 100 gives you 80. So 80 marks is 100%, so that must be 4 marks on the test. So the test is out of 80. For this question, we need to complete the table of values. What we're going to do is take each of these x values here and substitute it into the equation of the graph here. So we'll start with x equals negative 2. So the formula says y equals x squared, but we know x is negative 2, so negative 2 squared. Then take away 2x, but we know x is negative 2, so take away 2 lots of negative 2, and then take away 1. I would just type all of this into your calculator, but make sure you use brackets where I've used them. This will give you the value 7. So when x is negative 2, y is 7. Now they've done negative 1 for us, so we'll move along to 0. So this time 0 squared, take away 2 lots of 0, take away 1, that gives you negative 1. So when x is 0, y is negative 1. Then move along to 1, so 1 squared, take away 2 lots of 1, take away 1, gives you negative 2. And finally for 4, 4 squared, take away 2 lots of 4, take away 1, gives you 7. We now need to plot each of these coordinates. The first one is negative 2, 7, which goes here. Then it's negative 1, 2, which goes here. 0, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 2, negative 1, 3, 2, and 4, 7. We now need to join these up, but don't use straight lines to join them. Do a smooth curve, something like this. For part C, we need to use the graph to estimate the solutions to this equation. Since this equation is the same as the one we have on the graph, and it equals 0, we're just looking for where the graph crosses the x-axis. There are two solutions. You can see this one here, and this one here. I read these off as x equals negative 0.4, and x equals positive 2.4. You may get something slightly different but very close to this depending on how you drew your graph. For question 19, we have a scatter graph. We're first of all asked to find an outlier. The outlier is the point that doesn't fit the general trend of the rest of the points. You can see these points are making a nice sloping downward trend, so this one here is the outlier. The coordinates of this one are 120 on the x and 6 on the y. It says for all of the other points write down the type of correlation. As I said already, it's sloping down, so it's a negative correlation, and the points are quite close to a straight line, so we'd say it's a strong negative correlation. For part C, we need to find the time spent brushing teeth for someone who had 2 fillings. To do this, we draw a line of best fit. We then go to 2 fillings on the y-axis here, read across to our line of best fit, and then go down and read off this value. I get 108 seconds. The answer to this question will depend a little bit on how you drew your line of best fit, so if you're quite close to 108, you'll probably be fine. In this question, we have a caretaker that uses 2 tins of paint to paint this wall. The area of the wall will be 6 meters by 2.5 meters, so 6 times 2.5, which is 15 square meters. So 2 tins of paint will cover 15 square meters of the wall. So if we do 15 divided by 2, we get 7.5 meters squared. This means that 1 tin of paint will cover 7.5 meters squared, or it's 7.5 meters squared per tin. Now we have to paint a much bigger wall. This wall is 17 by 3, so 17 times 3 is 51 square meters. We know that each tin will cover 7.5 square meters, so if we do 51 divided by 7.5, we find we need 6.8 tins. Now you can't buy 6.8 tins, you'd need to buy the next integer amount, so we'll need to buy 7 tins. The price of a tin is £9.50, so the caretaker needs to do 7 times £9.50, which gives you £66.50. In this question, I need to draw a plan of the shape. A plan is the view of the shape from above. If I viewed this shape from above, I'd see the line AC here at the bottom, that's 8 centimeters. I'd also see the line CF at the side here, that's 10 centimeters. And I'd see FD and DA completing a rectangle like this. I would also see the line BE though. Since the triangle ABC is isosceles, indicated by the lines on the diagram, I know BE will go straight down the middle of the shape. So this line BE would also be visible here. For this question, I need to work out the angle BCA, which is this angle here. I know from the diagram that the height of the triangle, from B to the base here, is 5 centimeters. So we can just look at this right angled triangle. The base of this right angled triangle is 4 centimeters, since it's half of the base of the original triangle, 8 centimeters. And we're trying to find the angle here, so let's label it X. This question now requires us to use trigonometry. If we label the 5 as O and the 4 as A, we see we need to use tan. So tan of the angle, which is X, equals the opposite, which is 5, divided by the adjacent, which is 4. To find X, we do inverse tan of 5 over 4, which if you use your calculator will give you this. In the question, we're asked to give our answer to 1 decimal place, so this is 51.3 degrees. For question 22, it's a compound interest question. The amount of money invested is £4,000, and the rate is 2.5%, so that's a multiplier of 1.025. It's invested for 3 years, so we do this to the power 3. If you type this into your calculator, you'll find the amount is £4,307.56. We've been asked to work out the total amount of interest though. This is the amount of money gained. So if we started with £4,000 and now we've got this, we do £4,307.56, take away £4,000 to find the interest was £307.56. For this question, I need to find the shaded area. To do this, I'm going to find the area of the large rectangle first. I need to spot that the length AB is also 8 centimeters because it's the radius of a circle. The length from A to C then is 8 centimeters plus 12 centimeters, which is 20 centimeters. So the total length along the top is 20 centimeters. So to find the area of the whole rectangle, I would do 8 times 20, which is 160 centimeters squared. Now let's look at the area of the triangle CDE. To find the area of this, I do half times the base, which is 15, times the height, which is 8. This will give you 60 centimeters squared. Now let's look at the sector. The sector is 1/4 of a circle, so the area will be 1/4 times pi times the radius squared, and the radius here is 8, so times 8 squared. If you type this into your calculator, you'll get 16 pi. So we found the area of the triangle was 60, and the area of the sector was 16 pi. To find the shaded area then, I do the whole rectangle, which was 160, take away the triangle, which was 60, and take away the sector, which was 16 pi. So if you type this into your calculator, you'll get an answer. We've been asked in the question to give it as a decimal, so I'm going to round to 1 decimal place, so 49.7. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you found it useful. Here are some suggested grade boundaries based on the grade boundaries for this summer. Check out what video I think you should watch next, and also subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.